What's going on, guys? It is lunchtime, so I am going to be doing lunchtime draw time. Lunch sketch. Let's go. What's going on, guys? I hope you're having a fantastic day. It is a beautiful day out here in the park, and this is lunchtime draw time is what I called it, I guess. I couldn't think of anything cool, so I thought of something stupid, and that seems to be how humans handle situations. So this is a feature where over my lunch break, I have an hour or so. I'll eat something in like 5 minutes or so, and for the next 50 to maybe 45 minutes, I will try to draw something, ink it, and then I will paint it if there's time. It has been a while since I've done it, so a little bit rusty, but really excited to get back into it and make it a part of this channel. Alright, so what I've done so far is draw the basic shapes, the motion, the gesture of the character. If you haven't already guessed by the title of this video, you might have guessed by now. I am drawing the Incredible Hulk, or I guess more accurately, what we're going to be talking about today is the Immortal Hulk. I recently finished that series. Well, it is an ongoing series. It's just with everything being shut down right now, they've only printed to issue 33. And coincidentally, it kind of ended a story arc, so that was pretty nice. And I'll talk a little bit about that later. Right now, I'm just going to talk really quickly about what I'm doing with the ink. I'm just kind of blocking in basic shapes again. I think I've talked about this before, but just to kind of reiterate my process here, once I start drawing the figure and more or less understanding where everything is in relation to itself or each other, I'll go back in with ink and start picking out the forms with shadow. I really enjoy using bold shadow, kind of blocky shadows to define form. And really what that does is it starts to make everything pop a little faster for me. I like the look of cross-hatching, where you just kind of make a bunch of like little lines to define a form. It just takes forever, and this is just a little bit faster for me, especially with my lunch drawings. Time is of the essence, and that's kind of one of the things that this will teach you, is that you need to be as efficient as possible, and it kind of makes you aware of your decision making. So if you spend too much time on one thing, you can really tell by the end of the painting that you've focused entirely too much on one thing and not the whole piece. And I think that's going to be it for now for technique. I'll jump back into describing what I'm doing with watercolor in a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to jump into my Immortal Hulk review. I'm not sure if I could call it like really a review. It's going to be a very broad stroked overview, I guess, is what it is. So a little bit of backstory. What happens is there's a mutant who can see the future. He prophesies? I don't think that's the right word. Let's not worry about it. He foretells of a future where the Hulk goes crazy, kills a bunch of people. Bruce Banner hears about this, and he's like, oh man, maybe it's true. I get kind of crazy sometimes. And so he talks to Hawkeye and is like, hey, if I ever go crazy, just go ahead and put this adamantium arrowhead through the base of my neck, and that should do the job. Hawkeye reluctantly agrees. Lo and behold, eventually there's a fight, and it's a big one, and the Hulk seems to be going crazy, so Hawkeye kills the Hulk, and that is how I think that was an event in Civil War II, the Return of Jafar, and in the Immortal Hulk, we pick up with the Hulk coming back to life. Bruce Banner is alive again. No, everybody thought he was dead. We find out that the Hulk is very much impossible to kill, really, no matter what you do. And from that point on, we're basically just running along with the Hulk. He cannot stop fighting, and he keeps fighting monsters and creatures and evil people. And you do feel bad for the Hulk at a bunch of points in this story, because he just keeps running, man. You just pat him on the back and tell him to sit down for a little bit. Take a break. You basically run through a few story arcs where he fights Sasquatch from Alpha Flight. He fights Crusher Creel, the Absorbing Man. He ends up going to a pseudo hell. I think the gateway to this hell was opened whenever the first gamma bomb went off and transformed him into the Hulk. So after that, he fights Abomination, and they bring back Rick Jones, and he's the new Abomination, and you're like, oh my god, he can't fight Rick Jones. That's his buddy. He's got to fight his buddy, and it's heartbreaking. And Betty Ross is this. I didn't understand. I'm a little bit lost in here. Betty Ross is now, she used to be the Red She-Hulk. Now she is something called Harpy. She looks super gnarly. It's a really cool design, I think. But yeah, and then you run into a few other monsters. I think the last story arc they get into, I finished the series. Well, finish is it's presumptive, I guess. So with everything being shut down, they've only printed, Marvel's only printed Immortal Hulk up to issue 33. The last story arc that they've run, which actually wrapped up on issue 33, which was kind of nice. It was a nice coincidence. Was about the Hulk fighting these giant monsters and a creature called Zenmu. I have never heard of before, or Zemnu. I don't think it matters how I pronounce it. But he fights these giant Lovecraftian monsters, and it is an incredible, I won't say end, but if it does end, that's a really good place to end. It's a really cool fight for about 2 issues or so. I think one of them's a giant size issue, so it's probably like 40 pages or something like that. And it is a really cool story. I would highly recommend it. Definitely check it out. What the stories are about are basically just kind of dealing with your past and dealing with your demons, like all Hulk stories kind of are. They're dealing with the worst sides of you. Hulk has a dissociative identity disorder, and it's becoming more and more of a problem with all of these different Hulks, like Joe Fixit, World Breaker Hulk, Devil Hulk, and all of these other Hulks kind of coming out. And it's sort of dealing with the worst parts of you in a very visceral, literal way, which is emphasized by the amazing art of Joe Bennett. I think a big pull for me in this story is that it reminds me so much of John Carpenter's The Thing. The artist is doing a very good job of drawing almost grotesque things, but not in a gratuitous way, right? It still feels very stylized, and it still feels very intentional, like there's meaning behind it. So it's really nice to see the craft kind of put to work here. And I'm looking at several of the transformations between Hulk and Bruce Banner, and every time you see him transform, it is horrifying. the Hulk will break his bones and kind of claw his way out of Bruce Banner's mouth, or the Hulk will melt down into like a oblong sack of bones and muscle until it forms Bruce Banner. And all of that kind of adds to the lore, the mythos, that it is horrifying being the Hulk and having to live as a monster fighting other monsters when all you really want is to be left alone. Alright, so we're getting pretty close to the end of this video. I'll talk really quickly about watercoloring and what I do there. So I'm still colorblind. That hasn't changed. So because the Hulk is green, as far as I know, usually he's green, if he's not gray or red. Which, by the way, thanks for that, Marvel. Make a red Hulk for me. So yeah, it's really it's just mixing blues and reds to kind of make your watercolors either push forward or push back. I remember learning this in school. If you want your background to kind of be separated from your foreground or midground, you have to use cool colors for one and warm colors for another. And typically, you want your warmer colors up front because those are the ones that are going to catch your eye. You use your cooler colors in the back. But anyway, so that is the video for today, guys. I will see you back here on probably Monday. Remember to like, share, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, comment. Let me know what you guys think of this video. If you've read the Immortal Hulk, let me know what you think about it. If you haven't, go to your local comic book shop and demand. Pound your fist on the, well, you can't pound your fist on the table, you can't go in. You probably also shouldn't demand things from people you don't know. Just politely ask over the phone your local comic book shop give you some options when it comes to collecting Immortal Hulk. Maybe some trade paperbacks would be nice. Or send a nice email asking hello, greetings, salutations, and Excelsior and all that. So be nice to people. But I will see you guys in the next video. Until that day, good luck, Godspeed.